All right, welcome back, everybody. I got a very special guest today, and his name is Alex Opacic. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Like I can see you got the athlete to business shirt on there,
Oh yeah,
repping repping the fort, looking good,
yeah,
looking
yeah,
very smart with the glasses, trying to steal my style, huh?
Trying to be like you, man. Trying to be like you. You
That's
look smart. So
Thanks, brother.
giving it a go.
All right. So, for everyone who doesn't know who Alex is, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, and how you got into business?
Yeah, for sure. Geez, where do I start? I guess, kind of quick background about my story and how I got into the business. It all kind of aligns anyway. So I guess my story is all about basketball, as you know. I grew up wanting to be in the NBA, essentially, the best basketball player I can be. So that kind of dream and passion got me to reach pretty high levels in junior basketball. I represented Australia in the under 19s. I was at the AIS in Canberra. And then I went on to play college basketball. So like that was most of my mid-teens, late teens, and early 20s. Really, my life was just all about basketball. It's all I ever have known, and nothing else. Obviously, I went to school, but didn't care much about that. It was all, it was basketball in school as well. I remember I used to actually, this is horrible advice, and don't do this, but I used to take classes off and go and shoot around in the gym during classes. So it's a horrible thing to do. So don't do that. But that was my life. Just to give you an idea, it was all about basketball. um, After college, I went on and played professionally, actually in your motherland in Macedonia.
Maso.
Yeah, in Skopje, man. It was a great time. I absolutely loved Skopje. I absolutely loved it there. We played for. It was a new team when I was there called Torus Skopje. It just came out. We battled in the finals. Actually, no, in the semi-final against Rabotnički, which you probably know.
Yep. I know all of
We
them.
Yeah, we beat them, so it was good. And we ended up going to the final, playing against a team called Feni Industria, and we lost against them in the final. But it was a good season for me, and I then went on to play in Croatia for Rijeka,
Yep.
um, professionally, and then everything started spiraling downwards for me. I had a knee injury, which derailed my career and pretty much put a stop to everything. And I had to come back home to Sydney and rehab. And I was out of the game for about 2 years, and I really struggled during that 2 year period with
ACL?
no, it was a college there, but pretty bad. Like they just said you'd have a 2% chance of playing
Oh
again, or
shit.
I was out. Yeah, I had surgery. I came back a bit early. I played ABA for Bankstown. Came back too early and had another surgery. So it was just a shit period for me, to be honest. And I wasn't a prolific basketball player where I made a lot of money in Europe, so I had to find a job. But I didn't know anything outside of basketball. Hence, you shouldn't quit. You shouldn't jig class to go to play basketball. You should definitely focus on education. I did obviously get a college degree in the US, but it's a whole other story. I didn't really focus on that. It was all about basketball. So I struggled to get a job. I struggled to find what I wanted. I struggled to find any passion outside of basketball. I just struggled with my personal identity, to be honest. I kind of had I had no future outlook. I had no dream to chase anymore. So it was a pretty struggling period for me. Eventually, mate, I landed on my feet. Once my knees got better, I got a semi-professional gig here in Australia. You don't get paid enough playing semi-professionally. I was in Albury with Donga, so I
Yep.
still had to find a full-time job. And eventually, I just said to myself, you know what? There's life beyond basketball. I need to start taking it serious. And I landed on my feet as a business development manager in the media space. And I did that for about 8 years, and kind of my story started transitioning to more of a positive nature there. I started learning to transfer all the high performing habits that you gain from sport, which I'm sure you know all about, into the business world, and started being a high achiever there. But along my journey in the corporate space, I noticed a lot of other athletes go to that similar transition phase that I did. But also, once they figure it out, they tend to be high performers in the corporate space. And that's what led me to starting Athlete to Business. That's how the idea came about, was to help other athletes transition better than I did, and also connect these high performing individuals that are elite athletes with corporations, businesses that value that athlete mindset. So that's what I do here today. That's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Awesome, bro. You know, me and you have very similar stories because I was just like you. I played basketball every single day. I remember in high school, 6 times a week,
Yeah.
whether it be training or games. And when you're young, you don't feel it, right?
Mm.
When you get
Mm.
older, that's when your body starts to turn its back on you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember about the same time when you started playing ABA with us at Bankstown, I had that devastating knee injury. I tore my ACL, I tore my meniscus, I had a whole bunch of shit come up on the MRI, and yeah, I couldn't play basketball anymore. The one thing that I could only do that I loved doing, I couldn't do it
Mm.
anymore. So for a
Mm.
whole year, I was out. So that for me, I fell into like a little crisis as well, just like you did, an identity crisis. I had to reinvent myself, remold myself. And I started reading books. I remember the first book I read, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert
Oh yeah.
Kiyosaki. That really turned my my world on its head, and started learning about business, started learning about how money works and all of that good stuff. And I reinvented myself during that rehab year, and really, put myself out of my comfort zone to try and learn and grow and become better, and just to get my feet wet in business. And I was only young. I was only like 21, 22 at the time. So
Yeah. It's young.
before that, it was just basketball that I knew, and I never really played high level, so to speak, basketball like you did. You went to college in America. You also played professionally overseas as well. But you know, you, when something as devastating like that happens, it just forces you to grow. And I'm actually
Mm.
glad it happened. Like I can never play basketball the same again, but
Mm.
I've learned so much over the years, and now I'm in a really good position. And it's looking good. It's all up from here. And
Yeah. I agree.
speaking of basketball, right? So every single baller that comes on to this podcast, we have to show the highlights. And I found some
Ah, okay.
highlights. I found some highlights of you, my friend. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So talk us through
Sweet.
these highlights. This was at Furman College, right? When in America, right?
Yeah. Ah, yes. Yeah. 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 Yep. That
Goes the
is.
other way.
Yeah. Back. That's my sophomore year. This right here.
Yep.
It was my kind of very
There you are.
probably one of my
Alex
first
Opacic
Boom!
got it. 3-point shot by Opacic. His first
Wow.
points.
40 pounds. His father,
Looks so young.
Tony Sr., was a great player at
Yeah, I know.
Tennessee.
I'm so young. Eh?
And he looks like he's
How old
maybe
are
in
you?
his sophomore or junior year in high school like Tony White. He's playing very well.
21.
There's Opacic. A long three. Got it. Alex Opacic drains back-to-back.
Coliseum.
Furman back on
South
top by
Carolina.
6 again. Matches their biggest
Yeah,
lead.
wow.
They've had 5 ties in this game.
We ended up losing
There's
that game.
Opacic. This is Gerard Punch.
Pretty good. They
There's the double down, and a shot is blocked by McCandy's. Alex Opacic with 3 on the shot clock. Got it. Alex Opacic drains a 3.
Bobby Kirby's
Early line starting off in the tough man-to-man. Make sure they get on time. You see that pressure early in the basketball game. But the key is going to be after they defend well, can they go pull down the rebound?
There's Opacic with a left hand. It's opportunity after the offensive foul has been called in Furman at the other end, and the Paladins had another chance.
Wow, at the 3
Trailing
spot.
by 2.
Yeah, we
Couple
have
of steps in the lane, but a nice move. Nothing called as Alex Opacic is second.
Power forward and state center, but it was well at the
And right now, Elon playing a soft man
putting me
defense,
at the 3
trying to
spot
make
really opens up my rating.
Oh yeah.
Kind of my creativity in basketball.
For those that don't know Alex, he's 6'9", very tall person, and it's not very traditional for a big man to shoot threes, but that's Alex's special game, as you can see right here.
That's a lot of what I did in college. But towards my, I think this is still my sophomore year. So it's still more of that three band stuff. The dribble, shoot,
guys go during this season?
So this year is my junior year, and then my junior year was throwing low into the post.
Yeah.
So I was more of a centre power forward here. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but it is what it is. I had to do it, so I did, and I learned a bit of the post game. I still have my 3-point shot, which comes up right here.
I never leave.
Good, I remember talking shit to that dude too. After I hit that, I was like, man, I can shoot as well. So this was in St. Mary's actually, where Paddy Mills.
Oh yeah, St. Mary, that's right.
Yeah. This isn't again St. Mary's and Cal State Ford. But we played this is a tournament at St. Mary's Pacific and played the MVP of the tournament. We came last in the tournament. And I had there's only 5 teams, so it was a preseason for my junior year. But my junior year was this is towards the end of my junior year. It was my best year. I think I averaged about 12 points and 7 rebounds. So we didn't have. I was our top scorer and our top rebounder. So it says a lot about that. We didn't do too well that year. There's a lot of young guys in our team. That was my but that guy with the ball was my roommate.
Man,
Yeah.
so that time that you spent in America, how was America? Like, whereabouts did you travel around?
We traveled everywhere. So I was in South Carolina. Furman's in South Carolina.
Big basketball state there, isn't it?
Huge, yeah. South, North. We traveled a lot around North Carolina, Georgia, Atlanta. We went to California. That the highlights that you saw there was someone was in California, Michigan. We played against Michigan State, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. So I traveled a lot around the South. One time we went to Boston. Can't remember where we played there. We played like an Ivy League school in Boston. But yeah, traveled around everywhere. That was like the best 4 years of my life. So that was amazing. I initially, when I got there, it was a bit of a culture shock because South Carolina is like the heart of the US. That is deep South. Different, man, like just different.
How so different? Tell me more.
Yeah, good question. How do I describe it? It's
Racist?
just yes, yeah. Racist is one way to put it, but I didn't see much of that. I mean, I kind of did. I hang out a lot of my teammates and who I hung out with were obviously black guys and African Americans, and that was I started adapting their style, but I really warmed up to it. I really liked them, man. Like they were my best friends there.
Yeah.
I liked their culture. I liked their style. I grew up watching those American movies and
same as me. Like
yeah,
grew up
you know what I mean?
everything American.
Yeah, and I kind of accumulated myself to their culture pretty quickly. But not to sound racist anyway, the white Americans were very different in South Carolina. They were very reserved, very
Conservative.
very conservative, and it was just sometimes I had to watch what I say. We'll throw shit here and there, or it just wasn't. I wasn't ready for that conservative nature, and look, nothing wrong with it. I got adjusted to little things like praying before you eat was new to me. A lot of them did. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was. I saw it as just a different culture, and I said, you know what, this is pretty cool. I can get accustomed to this as well. They're not as the sense of humor, the sarcasm is not quite there like with us.
Mm-hmm.
There is that you can't be, Aussies, we're sarcastic a lot, and it's funny, and we'll love to go. We're a pub culture. Go down to the pub, have a beer, whatever, have a yarn. It's not as relaxed and laid back as that over there. So it took me a bit to get accustomed to it, but once I did, man, I really enjoyed it. But just obviously, you live in a bubble as well. You live in a campus. It's college parties.
Yep.
You're playing basketball in front of tens of thousands of people. It's almost like a rock star life. Eventually, so no, it was awesome.
Yeah, man. Like growing up, every single basketball player wanted to go to college in America and
yeah, I know.
play ball and then go to those college parties afterwards and just go crazy, American Pie style.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had after the AIS, I an opportunity to play professionally in Australia for the West Sydney Razorbacks. Do you remember them?
Of course, yep.
Yeah. Or go to college, and it was a no-brainer for me, man. It was straight to college. It was a dream. I wanted to play college basketball, so I'm glad I made that decision. Throughout my time at college, I sometimes regretted. I'm like, I wish I went to play for the Razorbacks. But there was even a point my sophomore year. At the end of my sophomore year, I had a chance to go play for the Singapore Slingers. Not sure if you remember them.
Okay.
In the NBL, and I was kind of like, you know what, I'm ready to go play professionally now. But my dad actually pulled me up on it, and he said, you know how WOG parents are. You're halfway through your degree. Don't be stupid. Finish off the rest of your degree and your college life. And I'm so grateful that my dad gave me that advice, because it's the best thing that I ever did. So I stuck at it for another 2 years, but really enjoyed those last 2 years. I was more of a leader in the team, and obviously ended up getting my degree as well out of it.
What did you finish in?
Communication. I did a communication degree. As I said earlier, I wasn't the most aware of my education and into that, but I picked the easiest degree possible. I did what all the girls were doing, and all the other athletes, which was communication. So I had a fun time doing that degree, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure you did, my friend. That's awesome.
I don't know if I learned much, but I had fun.
But yeah, I think basketball is a common denominator when it comes to both of us. That's how I met you, when you came to play for Bankstown, and then we played in that super team for the UBL when we won the 20K that one season. Honestly, that was the best team I've ever played for. You, me, Steve, Adi, all the boys, the Opacic boys.
Mitch.
Yeah, it was a great team, man, and I'm so glad I got chosen to be part of that team, because that was the best team I've ever played for, and we ended up winning, and we got 20K. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we did. No, that was a great team, man. I had a blast. I think every single one of us contributed in a way to winning that championship. But I've been thinking about, do we do it again? But man, I'm too old now and out of shape. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's a little bit on the older side now, but I'm still young. I'm still fresh. I'm just coming
you're
off.
still young.
I'm coming off an injury now. I'm almost ready to get back, so I can't wait. We're looking to win the Monday night comp now, which you and Buxton have won for the last fucking 6-7 seasons.
Yeah, I think more like 10 seasons.
Yeah. This is every single season, Monday nights, Div 1. This is the best comp possibly in the whole New South Wales. These guys have won it the last 10 times. It's ridiculous. It's annoying, and we're gonna beat them this season because I've had enough.
Okay. I think you and every team has had enough. We're like, it's starting to get more and more challenging for us. I think we lost a game not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, but we're back on the winning streak.
Yeah, that new Menai team, they're pretty good. That Sutherland.
They're good.
Yeah,
they're good. They got some dude who shoot the lights out.
He scored 52 against us.
He scored 41 against us. What's going on? What is this dude, man?
This guy, man, he does. On when you play 2K and how you sprint and then you shoot and then it goes like really like a fadeaway. That's what he does, and he gets them all in.
I find it astonishing because he looks like, like he's just like, you look at him and you're like, he can't play basketball.
You wouldn't expect it.
No. What would happen if he got in shape? I wonder how good he would be.
Yep.
Anyway, each to their own, huh?
Exactly right. So yeah, Buxton State, and one of the guys I really look up to is Steve Markovic.
Yeah.
He's been a really like a kind of like a mentor and a figurehead to look up to when it comes to basketball and just everything. I know you have a really good relationship with him, and how far do you guys go back? What's the story with you guys?
Yeah, mate. So I think you, me, and most of basketball players grew up in Bankstown and
Western Sydney. Yep.
Look up to Steve. He was the the godfather of that. Made it in basketball.
Yeah.
He played for Zvezda and
yep.
Europe. But it goes back to when I think I was 15 and he's a year older than me, so he was 16. He was at the AIS and I really wanted to be part of the AIS. That was obviously a dream, and I never really knew him that much around that age. But I went to a camp. I went to an All-Australian camp, and I kind of saw Steve there. We obviously, knew of each other in Bankstown as well. And he just came up to me and he said, "Hey, Alex, how you going? You'll be at the AIS next year." That's what he said to me. And he's just one of those guys that instills confidence in you a lot, and
Oh yeah.
he's full of confidence himself.
Yep.
That's how he's so good. But I was never the most confident player. And I was like, "What are you talking? What are you talking about?" But coming from Steve, he was obviously probably the best player for his age at that time in Australia. Yeah. Coming from him telling me that I'll be at the AIS next year was a massive confidence booster for me. And lo and behold, I was at the AIS next year. I went to nationals, under 16s nationals, and I had a pretty good nationals. Was it under 18s? I can't remember, but I did well, and I was part of the All Australian team, and then AIS scholarship after that. And then ever since then, Steve and I stayed close. We played on the same rep team, under 18s, Bankstown. He was bottom age, but then he was chosen to go to the Razorbacks, and then he was Rookie of the Year then, I think, up there.
Yeah, Steve's had a really good career. I honestly think he's one of the, if not the best player to come out of the Greater Western Sydney area.
Probably, yeah.
Mirko is giving him a run for his money at the moment, but he's still young and he's still got a long way to go. So shout out to Mirko and Steve if you're watching. That'll be good to see where Mirko ends up because he's still in the NBL now. He's played overseas as well, so he's had a really good career so far, and it's just beginning.
I think those two are definitely the standouts in that Western Sydney area. I think where obviously Steve played for the Boomers as well. Had a phenomenal career in Europe. So Mirko's got a way to go, but I think he's on the right track. So we'll see what happens. the battle for the greatest of the Western Sydney is on.
What a crown!
Yeah,
that's awesome. Do you think just to finish up on the topic of basketball, do you think basketball now in the last few years has been elevated so high compared to what it was when I was growing up and when you were growing up?
I think definitely in Australia it has, because of the success of some of the Australians. Steve was one of the first, and Andrew Bogut, and then Andrew Bogut being the number one draft
Patty
pick.
Mills.
Then you got Patty Mills after them, which was my age group. Joe Ingles, Aaron Baines. The success that they've had on them in the NBA has been amazing. And then you got a prolific figure like LeBron coming up through. Everybody's followed his career. Then you got Steph Curry doing what he's doing, and I think it's. I saw a stat somewhere. I think Australia has the most League Pass subscribers out of any other country outside of the US. But I think a combination of those things is the reason that basketball is so big here now, and the NBL is starting to get better as well. I think there's a lot more followers of the NBL. The competition's a lot better as well. I think the NBL stacks up to some of the best leagues in Europe now as well. Obviously, some of the high school players, the elite high school players from the US that have come here, and some of the NBA players that have come here as well. So, no, man, bright future for basketball in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. And when you see people like, what's the guy's name? LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball, yeah.
Come in here, and then all those Americans, they love it here, man. They realize like Australia's chill. Like it's almost like America, but nice weather and good people and stuff like that. They love coming here.
They love it, man. I know. I've spoken to a few of the Americans that come here, and we all speak English. It's pretty much similar to the US, but probably nicer.
Especially now, like with what's going on in America with like the whole culture war and the politics, and oh god, it's a mess.
And COVID, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think we're lucky here in Australia. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in any other country but Australia right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Me and my friends always talk about it. We're like, damn, we're literally in the best spot in the whole world right now.
We are, man. Knock on wood. Doesn't get out of, so lucky for that.
Yeah. All right, transitioning more to the business side now. Athlete to business, repping the shirt. Let me just get this up. I was on your website before. Can you tell us what athlete to business is, what you guys do, what you guys specialize in, and maybe any kind of opportunities coming down the pipeline for anyone who's interested?
Yeah, definitely. So we specialize. It's a recruitment agency at the moment, purely focused on placing people from an elite sports background into corporate roles, and most commonly, we place athletes, so people from elite sports background, into sales jobs, so account management, business development, relationship management. Reason being, I'm a firm believer that those from a sports background tend to develop a strong discipline, a competitive nature, a resilience, a drive to succeed. I think most importantly, a resilience. You develop a stronger resilience being, involved with elite level sports, as you know, and that transfers really well into sales, into the corporate space. You have to be sales is full of rejection. You have to be resilient enough to handle that rejection, learn from it, move on, and keep searching for the wins. That's sales in a nutshell, and that's business in a nutshell, I think. And that's also sport, elite level sport, as you know. So I think that's the core of what the business does, is finds these resilient individuals from sport background, and we connect them with corporations and businesses in around Australia who can utilize those unique skills and experiences. There is also an athlete transition and education piece to the business, which is in the works. It's watch this space for 2021. There's some things that we're working on, but it's all around kind of what I said there, helping athletes design a career plan post sport and upskilling and educating athletes into making sure that they succeed in the corporate space as well.
Love the marketing, by the way. This is really good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That was somebody did that website for me, obviously, a dude from the Philippines. It's pretty good. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree with you in terms of the athlete's mentality. It's really good, especially for athletes transitioning into business, to have something like this, someone who has gone through the whole process and can help and nurture other people coming through as well, and kind of give them an opportunity, give them a role that they can start in, and then grow their potential from there. That's really good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. It's also something close to my heart. I'm very passionate about as well. And one thing I launched into this business full time start of 2020. It's a great time to start a business, but it's been amazing doing something that I'm passionate about. I honestly feel like I'm playing basketball again at that elite level. That's how it feels. So it's been
Awesome.
an awesome journey.
That's great, man. And I saw you recently got my teammate Nathaniel a gig.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got Nate a gig with a really good company in Sydney, a business development manager role. It's been something in the works for a long time. Nate and I worked on that since April of 2020, and what are we now in December? And I think he started 2 weeks ago. So, but it shows, without sounding arrogant for myself, but more especially Nate as well, the resilience to kind of stick through it and keep hunting for that opportunity, and he ended up landing it. So that was fun working with him.
Yeah, it's awesome because he's had a really good journey so far with basketball as well. I mean, he went to college, D1, just like you did, and then he played professionally in Ireland, in the Netherlands, in Italy, I think as well. So, for him to come back now during the pandemic and, start off his business career, that's awesome, and it's just a testament to what an athlete is capable of when they put their mind to it.
And Nate's a rare individual as well, and again, it shows what athletes are capable of. But he's also very educated throughout his time playing professionally in Europe. I think he got a double degree, and he also got a master's degree. He did a bit of kind of side jobs here and there to gain a network and some skills in the corporate space. So it was very intelligent on how he managed his career in basketball, but more importantly, outside of basketball, and it obviously ended up paying off for him.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to any athlete that's kind of, they might be injured or they might be looking for a new opportunity or to look to, reinvent themselves? What advice would you give to that person who's just beginning their journey?
Do you mean reinvent themselves in their sport or just in general outside of sport?
Yeah, so like, they've been playing sport, they might have got injured, kind of like the same story that me and you have gone through, and they're just looking
Hmm.
for another opportunity outside of their sport. What kind of
Yeah,
things would you tell them?
the biggest advice I would say is to take a deep breath, pause, lower your
Mm,
expectations, and don't put so much strain on yourself to find something immediately. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to find that passion or something that you're fulfilled about straight away. My advice is to lower your expectations, take a step back, accept. I know it's hard, but just accept what's happened and start learning and doing a variety of different things. Like you said, you started reading business books. I did as well. I immersed myself into podcasts, like the Tim Ferriss show is my
yep,
favorite. I still listen to it. The School of Greatness by Lewis Howes. I'm not sure if you've heard of that one.
yep, yep.
Um, I just started immersing myself into that business world and just learning. And every job, once I got serious about business, every job that I got, I hated most of my jobs. I was never passionate about most of my jobs in the corporate space. But I'm not going to sit there and sulk and quit about it. I started actually using. It's probably bad for me to say this, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a good thing. But I started using my jobs. I started seeing them as a master's degree, but I was paid for it. They paid me to go to work and learn. So I started observing everything in the company I was working for. Right, how is the CEO operating? How is the marketing manager operating? What's the finance person doing? How is this salesperson dealing with their clients? Why is that person successful and I'm not, or that person is, or why am I? I just started observing everything, learning, soaking everything in, and my mindset shifted from me trying to find something I'm passionate about or finding fulfillment. My mindset shifted to education, just just observing, learning, and just trying to be the best that I can be in a job that I don't necessarily like. Because imagine then, if I'm good in a job that I don't like, imagine how good I'm going to be in a job that I do like, which is what I'm doing now. So that's my advice is just to lower your expectations, shift your mindset to education and learning, and stop watching what other people are doing and the success of other people or the failures of other people. Everyone's in their own lane. Stay in your own
Yep.
lane. Watch your own path. And one of the things I struggled when I was injured, I was seeing my teammates. Steve's an example, having a great career. Joe Ingles, Patty Mills, doing what they're doing. I went up against you might remember Julian Kazoo. We went
Kazoo,
out,
yep.
yeah, playing together, and he was having all this success with the Sydney Kings, and that I was always extremely happy for them, but I was also saddened that wasn't happening to me, and that I started paying attention to outwardly things and other people. And it's wrong. It's the
It's a
wrong
wrong
down,
kind of mentality, yeah.
wrong kind of mentality to go down. And then I started shifting just into me and bettering myself. And I come from a place of, kind of weird to say, like a place of love, like for myself and love for others, and helping others, and just kind of loving myself for who I am. And that came from then, from, if I could be more technical, I started giving myself education and just started learning, and then things shifted.
Yeah,
That's it.
100%. I think you nailed it on the head, man. Don't focus on the externals. Look
Uh,
within, feed your brain what it needs and don't compare yourself to others. Because, like you said, we're all in our
Never.
own lane. Because if
Yeah.
you start comparing yourself, especially now with social media where you can literally see what everyone's doing, you're going to go fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. If I went through all that I went through, and social media existed, man, I don't know what would have happened. It's harder these days, to focus inwards with social media. But just do it. Just if you have to turn social media off, turn it off.
Exactly. You
Um,
have to be more zen like and just, cut off all the external things and focus inwards. And man, every time I look inwards, that's when I have the best luck. It's never comparing myself. What is this guy doing? What is that guy doing? Should I be doing that? Should I be doing it? No, you focus on yourself. You set your goals. You direct your compass and you go towards that direction.
Yeah. And you know what? I think if I had this mentality when I played basketball as well, I would have been a lot better basketball player as well, if I'm going to be honest. I think you learn throughout life, you'll learn, and you learn through your failures. You have to fail to learn. And I know when I was playing basketball, I used to always focus outwardly. What's my coach thinking of me right now? What are the fans thinking of me? What's my parents thinking of me? What's my dad think? What's
Judgment.
my judgment? I was constantly thinking that I was being judged. But at the end of the day, no one really gives a shit about you. They don't really care that much about how you're doing, how you're playing. I mean, in some sense they do if you're the coach, your teammates. But I had bouts. I remember I had bouts of certain basketball games. You know, when you're in the zone, you would have had that. When you're in the zone,
Yep.
you're feeling it.
Yep.
What, like, the way that I could describe that being in the zone, you're so inwardly, you're just so focused on yourself, kind of having an out of body experience.
I call it flow state.
Yeah, the flow state. I did a good description of the flow state in a recent blog article I did. I got a link there of how Kobe describes the flow state. But I think if I had more of that focus inward when I was a basketball player, I think I would have been a lot better as well.
You live and you learn, brother.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I guess to wrap things up, I got this thing called your top three. All right. So
Okay.
we'll do that, and then you can ask me any question you want at the end. So
Yeah.
top three biggest inspirations or motivations in your life.
My dad would have to be one for sure. You know, as I'm sure you know, people from that ex-Yugoslavia background
Oh,
to
yeah.
have completely packed up their life, moved to a new country, and allowed me to go play college basketball, travel the world. I think that's success. But that's one. The other inspiration that's the main one I could think of.
Just on your dad, did he
Yeah.
play basketball as well?
No. He's a big fan. He loves basketball and loves sport in general, but he never played. It was just a dude that just worked hard, like non-stop, just to
Yeah.
the court.
That
I think that's what
typical
I got.
Yugo mentality where you just work hard, pull your pants up, tighten your belt, and just fucking do it.
Don't complain and just do
Exactly.
it. I think kids these days need a bit more of that mentality.
Too many snowflakes out there.
too many marshmallows. Too many snowflakes. The other inspiration is probably I think Michael Jordan. Everybody looks up.
Oh yeah.
Michael Jordan,
Especially after The Last Dance.
Yeah. After The Last Dance, that's a big. And can't think of a third one for you at the moment. I think if I could put into one, it's just a combination of all the entrepreneurs I've been following in the last
Who do you follow?
decade. So Tim Ferriss is one.
Tim Ferriss,
I
yeah.
follow a lot. Lewis Howes, he had a similar story to me. Obviously, he went gangbusters through what he does. Those two are the main guys I follow. Gary Vee, I like Gary Vee.
Love
Follow
Gary
his
Vee.
stuff. Yeah, I love Gary Vee. Tom Billio, the guy who founded Quest.
Okay.
He runs a pretty cool podcast called Impact Theory. Highly recommend that. Tom Billio. So those guys are kind of the main one. But Tim Ferriss is one I really follow and gravitate towards. So that's kind of my inspiration.
He was the author of was it the 4-Day Work Week?
4-hour work week.
4-Hour Work Week. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. He's all about technical things like Tools of Titans is a good one as well. I'm actually using it as my laptop holder right now as we speak. I look at it. I have it in my office here, and I read it a lot. But he's all about tips and tools and techniques on high performance and success. Like he
Kind of like hacks, right?
Hacks, hacks. That's right. That's what he gives you, the kind of blueprints of high performance and success.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have access to all this information now, with the podcasts. And man, I think I listen to about 6 hours of YouTube a day, just listening to people.
Yeah.
I can't listen to music anymore because I feel like I'm missing out on learning.
Same. I'll listen to music when I'm working. I'll put it on. It kind of gets me gets me going.
In the zone.
Yeah, in the zone, kind of like before a game.
All right. 3 things you're most grateful for.
Oh man, right now it's definitely my girls in my life. You know, my 2 daughters
Yeah.
and my wife, partner, fiance, my wife, same thing. So yeah, we're definitely grateful for that. My family and friends, in times like these, definitely grateful for that, and health, 100%.
Yes.
Just to be able, with everything going on, just every day I wake up, I'm grateful that I can breathe.
Amazing. Yeah. Grateful that I can breathe. That's powerful stuff, bro.
Yeah, well, it's simple, isn't it? But it's
It
powerful
is.
if
But
you
it's
truly.
very powerful. Exactly. There's some people who can't breathe normally, so
Uh,
who can't
uh,
even walk, they might have some kind of illness or disability. So every day on this beautiful earth that you're healthy is a grateful day,
100%. Yeah,
for
gotta be
sure.
grateful for it.
And 3 goals for 2021.
Yeah, life goals, business goals, bit of both.
Anything.
Yeah. Um, One goal in business is to hire 2 people by end of 2021. Um, there's a revenue goal that I want to reach with the business as well. It kind of goes hand in hand with the first goal. You need to reach that in order to be able to hire someone. My other goal is, and if you call this a goal, and kind of just touched on it then, is to be very aware of operating in my flow state throughout all of 2021, and my flow state is halfway between surrender and discipline. It's kind of a weird goal. I don't know. It's more of a mindset. I want this. My goal is to have this mindset throughout all of 2021, and what I mean by that is, all of 2020 and really throughout my life, I've been so caught up on success, business success. I've got to make this work. I'm work. I've been working 16, 17-hour days. I've got two young girls and my wife. Sometimes I've neglected them, and it's all about just work, discipline. Whereas I want to step back from that a little bit and start focusing on really what matters in life, and that's love and family and my 2 girls. And almost say kind of, excuse the language, but fuck it to that monetary and business success. And I think true success comes from focusing on and just allowing love to flow in your life and being with your girls and family. I think that's what life's all about. Because what's the point of having all this if you have monetary business success if you can't enjoy it and you're so strung up and tense all the time? So I think the flow state for me is operating halfway between surrender. So kind of giving up on all that business goals, chasing money, just let it go. Like life is short. If you look at it overall, I always say live in abundance, space, planets, the universe is so big. We're just a little tiny dot in that. So at the end of the day, nothing really matters. We're going to be gone in 100 years. 100 years is nothing, though. However many years. It's a tiny dot. So none of this really, really matters at the end of the day, man. Like no one cares. In 200 years, no one's going to remember you and I. No one. But what truly matters and is just being with your family, experiencing love. So that's my goal, is just operating that mindset.
Wow.
So when things get stressful in running your own business, get very, very stressful. So instead of me, there's been times this year where I've just let it get to me, right? And it's affected the people around me as well.
Yeah.
I just want to step back and be like, you know what? Life's short. This client canceling or not being a client of me anymore, it's not really that big of a deal in the bigger scheme of things, really. Just move on, really. So that's my goal, is just operating in that space.
Wow, I love that, man. That's powerful stuff. That's really powerful stuff. Because I'm on a little mission myself and trying to get people financially free. No, I haven't done it myself. I'm in the process of doing it, but like you said, it's to find that right balance between, would you say, sacrifice and discipline?
Surrender and
Surrender
discipline.
and
Like
discipline.
surrender, give it up, let that go, but to be disciplined enough to do your work, turn up on time, um, you know, manage what you can manage.
Get the work done.
But don't let it take over your life.
Exactly right, and that's powerful stuff. And I know a lot of people that have a lot of money, but they're just miserable because they're just working
So do
so
I.
many hours. And what's the point? What's the point if if driving a Lambo, if you live in a mansion, when
Yeah.
your relationship with your partner is disintegrating every day because you never were around her, and then your kids never see you as you grow up.
What's the point? What's the point? Honestly. So that's
That's
the
powerful stuff right there.
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And my third goal is to get 3 to 5 gym sessions per week for all of 2021. I'm never going to be like you, bro, but I just want to maintain. I just want to maintain, stay healthy, and I think spirit. I think more than anything, it's funny. Going to the gym when I was a basketball player was to improve my game and work on my body. But going to the gym now is my meditation. It's spiritual. It relieves stress. That's the main reason that I want to go there.
Wow.
If I get a good body from it, great.
That's a bonus.
Yeah.
No, that's great, bro. Okay, and very last one. You can ask me any question you want.
Yeah. All right. Out of all the people that you've interviewed in your podcast, what's been kind of two? Can I ask you one or two questions?
Whatever you like, my friend.
Yeah, cool. What's been the most that you've been inspired by, and why? If you can kind of, and if you've been inspired by my podcast here, this doesn't count. Anyone, like what's been the most, if it's something somebody said or their story, like what's resonated most with you and inspired you the most, and why?
It would
If you
probably have to be my friend Khaled that I interviewed. I think he was one of the first 3 podcasts that I did, and I think I went for about 2.5 hours with him. And
right,
this guy is the smartest person that I've ever met in my life. He
yeah, wow,
is a triple threat engineer. So structural, marine, and then something else as well. Like this guy is so bloody smart. He grew up in Lebanon during the Civil War, and he was getting shot at by a sniper from one of the um, buildings, and he was just holding his briefcase. I'll never forget. I'm getting chills just reciting
yeah,
this story because he goes to me, the pen and paper saved my life. And that's a metaphor not only for education, but because he was holding his briefcase full of all his study notes and stuff like that, he was using it to protect himself as this sniper was shooting down at him. The bullet hit the briefcase, all the papers went everywhere, which caused a distraction, so he fled to safety and got away.
wow, you're kidding? Fucking hell.
Incredible. And just the stories that then the life lessons that this guy told me as we sat down, and now we're like best friends. We talk almost, every week, and we catch up regularly. He invested in Bitcoin not too long ago. He asked me
Yeah.
he wants to get in. But yeah, just and the story is about his dad. He saw his dad as the like a god, and he lost his father a little bit early on, and he still talks about him every single day. And he really sparked something in me where I'm like, I have to, be closer with my dad because I don't know how
Mm,
much more time I'm gonna have with him left.
mm,
And
mm.
it really hit home for me. So it was really a great podcast, and that was the first time I met him as well when we did the podcast because he was referred to
Oh,
me by a friend. So I went
oh,
over
okay.
his house. He lives in George's Hall near Bankstown. Lives in this beautiful mansion, and yeah, it was so good. It was beautiful.
No, that's amazing. That's so cool to meet people like that. I love that. Yeah, when you meet someone with an extraordinary story, and it sounds like this guy's exceptionally smart. I think exceptionally smart people like that. just extraordinary. I find I get a little jealous as well sometimes. How can you be so smart and I'm not at all?
Well, all people aren't made equal. That's what
No,
people
you're
need to
right.
realize.
Yeah,
Some people are just better than others, and not to say that in like a condescending way, but some people
yeah,
are just smarter than other people.
yeah.
And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. Growing up, the education, the people that they're around. There's a lot of things, and some people, like yourself, you're 6'9", 6'10", you're much taller than other people. And in basketball, if you're taller, you just have a natural advantage than others.
That's true. That's true. I think we all have our own greatness in a way, and you just got to
Exactly.
find it.
Yeah, you just got to do some soul searching. It takes a while, but everyone has that little thing in them, that little spark where if they finally find it, they can truly create some magic in their life.
That's very true, man. I can resonate with that.
Awesome. All right, man. Let's wrap this up. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about the business, if they want to talk to you, if they want to reach out?
Yeah, I'm on all the business. The business is in all the socials, Facebook and Instagram, just at Athlete to Business. On LinkedIn, I play a lot on LinkedIn. You just follow my profile, Alex Opacic, or at Athlete to Business as well. But I do a lot of my content generation through LinkedIn. Also, if you want to jump on the website, I do a blog all about athlete transition and high performance. It's called Athlete Culture. If you just Google Athlete to Business, Athlete Culture, you'll find it. But yeah, that's about it.
Beautiful. Well, Alex, thank you again for coming on, man. It was a pleasure. Look to get you back on here again sometime and
For
update
sure, man.
us on those goals that you set for yourself. All right, got to keep you
Yeah, definitely,
accountable.
man. Yeah, 100%. I like it. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. It's been really fun, man. I love doing stuff like this. So glad that we get the opportunity to do this.
All right, Alex Opacic. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care.